Good afternoon, Team Waycross. Welcome to this last Thursday's city update. And I apologize, I have a lot of stuff on my desk this time, but I'm going to cover a few things that I think are important for the city and hopefully be able to illustrate to you some of our challenges that we have coming up and why these challenges require very insightful decisions. And it's not always the most popular decision, but need decisions regardless. So we still got a few people coming in, so I'll wait before I get started as far as going to the actual presentation. But today, for those already chiming in, I will give you some updates on some of our processes that I want to get better defined to the community. So I'm going to make some changes here over the next few weeks that hopefully helps you understand how we do things here up in the city. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the grant processes. I want to do some follow-up on the resource week we had this month and kind of discuss the way ahead on that. And then, of course, I'm going to talk safety first and foremost. And then I want to give you a quick presentation to kind of tell you just about the budget and some of those challenges that we face with the budget. And then we'll kind of go from there. I do have a hard stop time today, 1 o'clock. We do have one of our commissioners, I believe it's District 2, doing a live town hall on Sweat Street to kind of further explain some of the challenges we have with water and sewer and why it's important as a city that we make some different decisions on how we manage these issues to prevent them from always being continued issues. So that's going to start at 1:30 over there on Sweat Street. Right behind the library. So if you got some time or you're free for your lunch break, please stop by because we really want to go into detail about some of the things we're trying to do differently to address these issues and concerns to water and sewer. We'll have the new program manager of ESG out there. He just arrived to the team this past month. So he's going to say a few words as well. So hopefully that'll give you a better understanding or some more clarity of how we have to address these issues in regards to water and sewer and why we got to make some changes going forward. So I still got a few people chiming in, and like I said, I got a hard stop at 1 o'clock, so I have to start now. I'll come back hopefully at the end and answer any questions that you might have out there in the live stream. And once again, this video will stay up, so if you come back and you have concerns or questions, just put them in the comments and we'll answer them again. Or if you really got something you want to discuss with me, just get on, either get on the Facebook and contact us or call my office and make an appointment. And I will gladly sit down with you to discuss any concerns you might have going on in the city. So what I want to do first is kind of discuss safety like I normally do during my live streams. And I just want to hit on a few points. We had a slew of DUI this weekend. We did reach out a few months ago and ask for help from some other agencies with our speeding and other, traffic incidents. So we had a lot of uptick this weekend. So on the surface, that's a good thing. Underneath the surface, maybe not so much because we did have a lot of DUIs. I think we had 10 DUIs this weekend, and then we average about 3 to 4 every weekend. So I just ask the citizens, once again, be safe out there. We need to treat everybody with dignity and respect. That person in the next car should be seen as your mother, your father, or your child, or your husband, or your wife. The same thing with our citizens walking in the street or crossing the crosswalks. We still haven't managed to slow all that down. So I just ask you on behalf of the commission and the mayor that you take heed to these words. Safety first. Everybody matters here in the city, and we got to do better with that. That means cut down on our speeding, running our stop signs and red lights, running past crosswalks to have individuals already in the crosswalk, and other things. Even more importantly on that note, school is out. We have more children out now playing at the parks, crossing the roads, going to their friends' homes. So we really have to be mindful of what's going on in these streets. So once again, I ask all Waycross citizens, please slow down. All right, so next I'm going to move into a quick update on some processes within the city. And I got some feedback from some of our some community leaders during a different meeting, and they requested a few things. And I got back with the team and to see if it was manageable. And now, after discussing with the team, we realized it's manageable. So what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks, we're going to add some flow charts and diagrams of some of our processes in the city to help you better understand those processes. The first one will be abandoned structures processes. You hear me often talk about this at other meetings, but it is a process, and it can take as quickly as 6 months, or in some cases we've been going at it for 3 or 4 years now, trying to locate those property owners. But I do want to show you the steps that we do as far as identifying the property, marking it unsafe, the fines, the fees, and the ticketing. Getting with the once we identify the homeowner or a family member of the home, going to court, getting a verdict there, which might start the process over. The person pays the fines, depending how that goes. So it is a quite extensive process. But I want you to see what it is and better understand it. That way you can hopefully better appreciate the struggles we go to get these properties knocked down. And with that part, I will say, I know we still have some concerns about knocking down some of our more, I guess, famous or familiar homes or structures. But we have to do these things because we need that land space to create additional homes for anybody else coming into Waycross and for safety purposes. And I'll hit on that a little bit later on. But once again, in the next couple of weeks, you will see us update our website with that process so you can better understand how that works. Just make sure we have any questions pop up. The next process is for blighted properties. I know there's a lot of confusion out there about the blighted properties process. So we're going to do that as well. We're going to put that on our website. We also make Facebook posts behind these as well. And I won't go too far into detail about that process, but I do recognize it needs to be better defined and more clear to our residents. So we'll definitely do those two processes that be on our website. Additionally, we have a dashboard. Now, the dashboard is not public right now, but what I'm trying to do is make that dashboard public so you can go in there and you'll be able to see our routes for the week. You'll be able to see how we cut our yards for the week, our right-of-ways, our inspections. When code goes around, each of them has a district they go around each day, our trash collection, all those scheduling so you can understand how we operate day to day, and you get a better visualization of what's going on by looking at that dashboard. The dashboard also outline our projects. When I say projects, I mean infrastructure, I mean water and sewer, and a few other things. So that way, you can also see back to the blighted properties. You can see a list of where we are on the scheduling for our blighted properties. So, like I say, I've had that dashboard up for a while, but it's been more internal uses, and I think it's prime now to go external, so our citizens can kind of better see what goes on day to day within the city. My next thing I want to go to is the grant process, but I see we got a question came in. I try to answer that real fast. Since we only have one question. So one of the citizens kind of made a comment about how this works. It's some ordinances, and we actually have some ordinances that will be up on the next agenda for recommended changes. And so if you get a chance, come to the next commission meeting. We'll talk about that. But great point. I wouldn't say it's called tie behind our backs, but we do got to cover all our bases because there is some liability associated with just knocking a home down without reaching out to the owners or the future owners in certain scenarios. So definitely going to make sure everybody understands that process so we kind of can move forward. And hopefully once everybody can kind of visualize it, understand it, if it appears we need more changes, like all times, we welcome any suggestion or feedback from our citizens. All right. I'm gonna move to the grant processes real fast because we just had a resource week, and I haven't got all the feedback yet. Action Pack, if you're listening right now, kind of comment on how many applications you have received if you can. Same thing with Georgia Power. What I'm gonna do is coordinate with my business integration and information system director and kind of get him to get that data, and we'll post it just to see how many applications have been processed since that resource meeting that we had in the auditorium. And also with that, he's gonna post, and let me go back, I forgot to mention, on our website, the process for abandoned properties and blighted properties, that'll be underneath community improvement, the directory. And then these grant processes are gonna be underneath the business integration directory. So you'll click on there and go to their individual pages, and the information I'm talking about right now should be there. But it's going to take a couple of weeks to upload it. So give us a couple of weeks and then check back with us. So, but back over to the grant processes, there was a lot of information given out, and we're going to follow up with Georgia Power with Action Pack just to see how many folks put in for those grants. And then we'll come back again probably next month and do another resource activity event to kind of hopefully get more people to come in and take part of it. And like I say, when I say we're going to put it on the websites, it'll mainly be the application process and information papers. Just kind of explaining what the grant is, who qualifies for it, or who can qualify for it, and then the actual process itself. In certain cases, I just ask you can't call the city, because if it's a program or a grant given by like a Georgia Power, you need to contact them for your questions, if that makes sense to everybody. Okay. So I went real quick there, but I just want y'all to kind of know what was going on as far as some of these processes that, quite frankly, we probably should have been done a better job explaining. The same thing with some of the grant programs, and we do additional research to find other grant programs. And I think what I'm going to have requests too is that my business integration director kind of put those on his websites. But at the same time, we'll be using Facebook as well. And then he does a separate meeting on his own, or a meeting or podcast where he gives information on certain events as well that include business opportunities, development opportunities, and things of that nature. And my last point on that, you might can't see it because we can't talk about this as much as we talk about everything else, but we do have businesses come here. I have talked with the Development Authority here, Wake County and Waycross, and we're going to do a better job collaborating and explaining what we are doing behind the scenes to bring more jobs here. Jason is working very hard in the background, but he is kind of obligated to NDAs and other criteria where he can't just promote what he's actually doing. But I can tell you firsthand, because we talk regularly, he is in the fight for this city. Mr. Simmons is in the fight for this city of bringing jobs here. That's their main priority, because we know that's the one thing that we really need that can definitely impact all of us in a positive way and hopefully change some of these downward trends we've been having over the last few years. So I'm going to pause there and ask if there are any questions in the chat about what I just covered, like far as the abandoned processes, the blighted properties. Like I said, I can't go too much in detail, but if you got any quick question, I'll answer those now. Same thing with the grants from Georgia Power, Action Pack, and other entities. And then the last thing I did mention as far as safety, we are looking at some additional safety steps to put in place to help the community be safe. So I'm going to pause there for any question I might have. And once again, I appreciate all the input from the citizens here online and just in general. There's not one day that goes by that the commission and the mayor, they don't tell me during their discussions and their meetings, they don't get good feedback from the city. When I do my walking and talking and traveling, I get good feedback too. So we are in the fight for our citizens. We appreciate your feedback and your criticism. Like I said, be critical of us. I just ask when you're critical, please bring some different approaches or solutions to help us fix that problem that you've been critical of on us. So all right, so I don't see too many questions coming in now. So like I said, that means it was a good presentation. I know it's fast and quick, but the main thing of that was I just want y'all to know we're going to update all our processes on our website so we can provide better information for you. And then we'll put some information papers on Facebook. And then we're going to try to do some more word of mouth stuff as well. And then some hand delivery stuff through maybe some of our, some of our business as far as like the bills and stuff like that. All right. So that's what I wanted to do on the first part of this meeting. And the next thing I want to kind of hit on, and this, if some of you have been watching our commission meetings, we've had a lot of discussions about, and it's also budget season, about changes to the budget. And we've had a lot of questions and concerns about how we spend the taxpayers' dollars. There are some things that I know y'all might ask me on the chat today I cannot answer right now. I will say, if you come to the commission meetings in regards to some of your concerns, we are forming 2 special committees to look at some of our practices and policies that need changing, redefinement, or deletion. So that's coming right now. And some of you are actually in the comments. You know what I'm talking about because you're part of those boards and those committees. And once again, we welcome all that because we want to be as transparent as possible on how we spend the taxpayers' dollars. We want to be as transparent as possible on how we conduct the daily operations of the city. So, so please, those that are involved with that process, I know you can't speak on everything once it actually starts, but please tell your fellow citizens what's going on, because, like I say, trust is the foremost. It's foremost in this city, and with the commission and mayor and myself. So, what I'll do, I'm gonna go ahead and start my finance presentation. Like I said, this is gonna be quick. I know sometimes we put up all those slides, or we get in heated discussions about changes. Sometimes the intent is missed or misunderstood because everyone is so emotional about the discussion. And additionally, everybody cares for the well-being of citizens. So that's the first priority. So sometimes these discussions, they don't reach the fulfillment they need to because we stop them short. And as most of you know, we are in some challenging days right now. Inflation is out of the roof. It's been that way for the last 8 years through both parties in power. So we can't just point out one particular party that's caused this. It's what it is. It is our new normal. So we all are affected by that. And so today, what I want to do is take a few minutes to kind of explain the city budget, kind of not explain the whole budget, but some challenges we are facing. And you probably can see behind me the pie chart. Maybe you can't. But it's a pie chart that I carry around with me in my car. And what I like to do is stop and ask a question to our citizens about our budget if they have questions. So if you ever see me driving around somewhere, just flag me down. I have this pie chart in my car. I have our streets and roads update in my car and a few other poster boards. I don't mind sitting down there and talking to you about it. The commission has challenged me to do a better job of that, of getting out here and explaining our processes, especially our financial decisions with the community. So I can pull up anywhere, pull up any shop, and give you a presentation. It's always in my car. I'm prepared to brief. So what I'm going to do today, though, you can see that, and I hit on that a little bit. I'm going to talk about revenue and expenses. That's going to be the main 2 areas of this discussion. And our revenue is created through mostly our taxes, our fines, and our fees. That's the majority of how we bring money into the city. And when I say tax, that could be sales tax, that could be property tax, other municipality taxes, long word, and other fees and fines associated with funding collection. So tickets, stuff like that. So that's how we create revenue. That revenue has to come in and then kind of cover our expenses. And we got a lot of expenses. I'm going to talk about expenses first because I need to explain expenses through our city budget. And it says city's budget, but this is actually an expense for us. So if you can see the slide right now, probably our biggest expense is going to be our wages. And our wages are for our police force, our fire department, our public works, our headquarters elements here within this city building, all those personnel that actually work for the city. And that's probably, that's their wages. But when you look at that, it ain't just their wages. That's the work they put in for the city. So that means getting the grass cut, all 84 acres every week. That means the police force, they have 3 to 4 shifts, 5 cars each shift. Police in the city, keeping the city safe. That means our fire department out here maintaining our fires. Even when somebody calls, we have a lot of false alarms, and our fire department still shows up. That still costs money, even though there might not be a fire present. So our public works, not just cutting the grass, but helping with ESG. If you look at one of our contract situations, helping ESG maintain our streets and roads and parks, other infrastructure, our buildings, taking down abandoned buildings, cleaning abandoned buildings, all that has associated costs with it. So when you see wages there, it's not just us paying them. That is for the work that our hard-working workforce is doing. So I hope everybody can understand that better, because normally when I brief this slide, people automatically think, paychecks. No, this is the work that they're doing every day for our citizens every day. The next thing is benefits. That's more of their retirement, insurance, things of that nature. I will say this: if you did not know, insurance is skyrocketing right now. Those that sat in on the legislature's lunch, I think it was, was it Tuesday or Wednesday? Yeah, Tuesday. If you listen to some of the our state leaders talk, they talk about the rising costs of insurance. And I will tell you, it is skyrocketing. So that's a cost that is moving faster than anybody can keep up with. And it's a tough decision. Right now, the commission and the mayor have me kind of researching some different options for us because that expense is growing every day. But we have to have our workforce covered because they can get hurt. And as many of you know, we've had city employees get hurt while doing their day-to-day jobs. So that's very important. Loan payments, these are loans we took out in case we could not pay. If our revenue was not enough to pay for certain services, we had to just take out loans. I'll hit that later on, but that's really reflective of, our streets and our sewer systems and our water plant being in such a disarray that we didn't have the money to cover those fixes. We had to take out loans. So we still paying back those loans. That's something that's needed. Every city faces this. We're not unique to it. Every city has loans to paying back. So that's what we're doing right now. For some choices made in the past that we're trying to correct. And the rest of that stuff, professional service, insurance, utilities, is self-explanatory. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, this pie chart is kind of like our expenses. And what I want to do now, because I know it's always an issue when I talk about like increasing rates or fines and fees, I want to show y'all something real fast. And I hope y'all can see this. If you can't, let me know. But when I was getting my master's, I had to do a program with 4 of the students, and we had to go explain the process to some fifth graders. And if you know fifth graders, it's hard to maintain their attention past 3 minutes. So we kind of got creative, and I do this what we call the water test, to explain how stuff is done at a certain level. So hopefully you can appreciate what I'm about to do. If you can't, and I missed the mark, my apologies. I just wanted to kind of really hope that y'all can understand what's going on with this budget. So this first bowl, if you can see it right now, this first bowl is our budget 10 years ago. And this actually is the requirements for the city. This is the grass cut, the bills, utilities, all those things, which we would call expenses, what I talked about before, the wages, insurance. And what we got to do every year when we do the budget, we got to collect revenue through taxes, fines, and fees and pull it into those expenses. So I'm going to do that real fast so y'all can see. I got this green water because I think green is the color associated with Waycross, Georgia. If I'm wrong, somebody go in the comments and tell me I'm wrong. But, I was told green was the color, so that's what I grabbed. So what I'm going to do now, like I say, this is all of the requirements of the city right now. Expenses, revenue. So I pull in some of our property taxes I'm paying for the police force. Can y'all understand that in the crowd? Next, I'm paying for some of our fire department. I'm paying infrastructure for our roads and with ESD to fix and repair roads sometime. I'm paying for healthcare insurance going up. We're paying for other expenses. We plan to knock down abandoned homes. We're paying to clean up abandoned properties. We're paying to fix streets and roads not covered in our normal expenses. And even then, if you can see, a lot of times that doesn't cover what needs to be covered. And this is 10 years ago. Everybody can appreciate that. So we have a tough decision to make. I'm going to show you right now what it is. Everybody can see this bowl. So over the last 10 years, because of inflation and the cost of labor, the cost of materials, the cost of transportation, the cost of logistics, some jobs leaving here, and other factors, all of our expenses have increased. So we now have a bigger pot to fill. So once again, a bigger pot to fill, but we still have the same amount of revenue coming in. I'm trying to spill myself on me because I don't walk around with green Kool-Aid on me for the rest of the day. But once again, now remember, this is inflation. The 20% to 25% increase in inflation that's happened over the last 8 years that we all suffer from. Now, I'm pouring in the same revenue because we have not increased our water rates. We have not increased our taxes. We have not increased the salaries. Well, let me take that back. We have increased certain salaries, but for the most part, we're not increasing salaries overall to the workforce. We still got to pay for the healthcare insurance that's skyrocketing. And now because our roads and streets are deteriorating faster than we can keep up with them, we got to take out additional loans to pay for those things because we want to keep our citizens safe on the roads and streets. So now, as you see, that revenue doesn't even cover half of that. And when I do this with fifth graders, they get it. You understand that bigger requirements and less revenue creates less requirements met. And I use that as a talking point for everyone because I need y'all to kind of understand where we're at right now. The current commission, they have some tough challenges ahead of them right now because we don't make some decisions right now, some things, it can get worse, So we do got to look at our fees, our fines, and our taxes. And if you didn't understand, every time we raise taxes, no money goes in nobody's pocket. That money goes back into the city. And because we have not made certain decisions over the years, we fully recognize we cannot compete or catch up with inflation over the next 10 years. We're just that far behind right now. All we can do is either cut some of the requirements, make that big bowl smaller. That means cut less grass, water restrictions, things of that nature, or find a way to add more revenue to the city. That means creating more property spaces. So by knocking down old abandoned properties, we can make new homes come up, increase that capacity for new people. That means bringing in more jobs to increase sales tax and foot traffic for revenue, stuff like that. That means like looking at some of our fees and fines to be more deterrents than they are right now. And I use an example because, illegal dumping. It could be $100, but that's not a deterrence for anybody to not do the illegal dumping. And once they do the dumping, that might cost the city $1,000 to get rid of that trash. So should I not just make the illegal dumping $1,000 for those to get caught? It's just a question we have to have and have to think about moving forward because, we want to go away from being a small town into becoming a modern city. So I just wanted to do that. I hope y'all can understand that little experiment because it is critical that we start having some critical thought processes, some better understanding of how this stuff works. The easy answer is to do nothing. I hope things will get better. As many of you know who've been away across your whole life, we're on a down trajectory. I mean, just a down trend. And we can't act like it's not true. We got to come together as a community with better understanding, better clarity, and better solutions and tackle this problem together. With that, it is on the commission. And like I said before, they have some hard choices. I have hard choices. And even though I know some of this might adversely affect certain parts of our citizens, it might place a big impact if we don't make a decision to address it some kind of way right now. So I hope that you can understand that visualization of what's going on with the city budget. As right now, we started the budget process. The next meeting, I want to say, is on June 5th, or June 4th and June 5th. We'll be presenting the budget to the commissions. So citizens, please come to that meeting. And hopefully, when you listen to the budget get proposed, think about these two bowls. And hopefully it'll make you better understand some of the unique problems that we're facing right now. And I'm gonna look at the comments real fast, make sure I ain't miss anything. But yeah. So I see a color. Yeah, green is color money. I missed that. But for my purposes, you know what? That's a great comment. Next time I use that. This is the color money. That makes totally more sense. Even though I love the color Waycross. So So anyway, those are the areas I want to cover real fast, because it is critically important that we don't talk to each other without having all the information. I know in this time and age, especially the last 8 years, taxes have become a bad word. But taxes, fees, and fines are how you provide services for the city. And that's just a reality right now. There's no other way to do it at this time. So we really got to kind of figure that out. But I just want everybody to kind of come in with the correct information. And like I say, we often get a negative. Well, we often a picture negative, but I can promise you, the budget. I post a budget in the city report every quarter. It's quarterly in the city report. You can count for every dollar in there, as close as possible. We try our best to be good stewards of your money, your taxpayers. But these are challenging times right now, and I don't know how to present that to you to let you see that at some point our requirements don't match our revenue, and we head down that road. My biggest fear, and I tell you, I shared it with the commission, is that something happens that we really can't support, and then what happens then? I mean, we have that drastic infrastructure issue, or like the West Coast have these fires and we can't support certain things, or it's a host that can happen if you don't have the funding required to prevent them. So that's all I have today. I was kind of brief, but I want to kind of really share that with you because it's just critically important that we all start, thinking about these things and reach out to your commissioner because they need to hear your feedback. We had discussion about the water rate study, and I heard some different concerns in the room, and I won't go into that right now. We'll talk about it at the next meeting. But we haven't raised our water rates in at least 11 years that we can account for. And with that time, during that time frame, a lot of stuff has happened with the water and sewer. And, to main thing being inflation, the cost of materials, cost of labor, and that stuff has to be in line together. You can't just keep adding on requirements and not add on some additional revenue, because eventually that model doesn't work and stuff breaks, and then you got to make drastic changes, which we don't want to do for our citizens. We want to provide you predictability, stability, and just let you know what the correct information is. So I'm going to pause there. If you have any questions, anything like that, I'll take them now. I see one come in. Yeah, I see the one of our citizens, and I addressed that about. I read the question. The stewards need some stewarding classes for hotel rooms. Yeah, I can appreciate your concern. Like I said, we're having a committee to look at that. I'm going to lay out to you. There are about 82 classes that are required for a city official to have to be a city official, and in some cases, you might have that class, but if you don't go and get updated, then that becomes inefficient. So we do have to go to regular scheduled training through GMA and other sources, and that means staying in hotels where we can. Additionally, outside of myself, who I can do certain things as a city manager because I'm not an elected official, I don't speak on behalf of the city outside of speaking with your commissioners and the mayor. If you didn't know how this works, if the mayor and the commissioners don't travel and go up to Atlanta and voice our concerns to the Senate, in the House, at the state level, nobody hears them. You can email them, you can do that stuff like that. They're just busy. That is something needed. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. And I get frustrated because we don't really understand that process. I worked in the Pentagon the last 5 years of my Army service. So I brief senators and Republicans, Democrats, all the same, mostly on the Army budget. But a lot of times when I was talking about them, I was discussing the needs and wants of soldiers and families. So you got to think, a senator or a congressman at the federal and state level, they're getting thousands and thousands of emails a day because everybody has complaints and concerns right now, especially with these times. So if we don't take the time to get off our butts, it's the commission, the mayor, and get up there and fight for the city at the state and federal level, nothing's going to happen. And I hate that some of y'all can't understand that, and I wish you could. and maybe some kind of way we can figure out to take you with us. I did see some cities doing that now, so you can see how this works, because it's important that you really understand how this process is. And I'm gonna find a way to help make you understand, because I do understand how important it is for you not to feel like we're wasting your taxpayer dollars. So hope that answers your question, sir. If not, like, once again, you can come talk to me. We can talk about it. I'm very transparent. We got nothing to hide. Never did, never will. Everything's open to the public because we work for you. So I'll pause there on that. One of the commission, Washington D.C. too. I'm gonna say, and this comes back to breaking jobs here. The state only does so much, but you have to go promote your city. You got to go cheerlead your city. You got to think we are in competition with thousands of other small cities and rural communities for support. For additional funding, for jobs, for potential businesses. That's why it's so important that they do travel sometimes. We can sit here and look at each other and hope that stuff will get done. But as many of you know, living in Red Cross for a long time, that's the reason why we hit this. We went on this downward trend right now, because we didn't get out there and promote our city. And Red Cross has so much potential. Our land space, the swamp, this old school charm, our downtown area, our uptown area, historic area. We got a lot of stuff to offer potential investors, but they'll never know if we don't go out and promote the city. So that's one thing I hope that you can understand right now. And I'm saying that with as much transparency as I can. All right, and I'll stay on for a few more questions. I'm not sure what time it is, how much time I got left. I do have to stop at 1 o'clock. Like I said, I got a hard stop today. And let me go back to that too. I try to go to, as a city manager, of course there are GMA courses I have to go to, but there are separate courses for city managers. And this is my first time being a city manager. And, although I can reach out to my mentor city managers, that I have 2 mentor city managers that I talk to weekly, that give me, advice and mentorship, because they face some of these challenges already. But at the same time, my Army experience, I face these challenges as well. But I go to other locations and I listen to people who I do not know. To the other 2 city managers meetings I go to, well, not meetings, but conferences, I've gained so much more experience, because they teach us relationship building, how to work with commissions that might not be always together, how to work through rural and urban communities, the grant program. So all this, we can bring back into the city and make it better. And speaking on behalf of the commission and the mayor, everybody's trying. Everybody has the oars in the water, and we all rowing. This is just a time right now, like I said, and I know we're all feeling this with inflation, with taxation, with inactivity, that everything is an issue. And all you can do right now is get the correct information, fight as hard as you can for your citizens, and then go from there. Yeah, I see some more questions on here. So, and I got a phone call on this last week. I know, Chief Cox does a course for citizens to understand how the police, how the police force works. And I thought that I come out some days out there with him, and I feel like it's very engaging, because it does show our citizens that what you see on TV is not necessarily the same thing that happens day to day. And how the job it is to be a police officer. The same thing in my fire department. So I am thinking about, I haven't passed this on to the commission yet, so this is pre-decisional, about, maybe having a weekend class, maybe through a month's time period, to talk about local government, just how we're structured, how we work, to show you how the budget is done, to show you how we determine what grass gets cut, to show you how we determine, which water leak gets done, to show you those processes, and then, to show you why we go to certain training, to go over all 82 classes that we must have to be, effective as city leaders in the community. So that is something I'm trying to figure out. But we have a small staff. I would be hurting my staff trying to do something like that on such a large scale. But maybe using new technology, we can figure that out, because that is important that we better explain what we do day to day. I try to do that through the city report and these live streams, other live streams, but I understand now everybody's not getting the information, or everybody doesn't understand the information. So that's something we'll work on. But I thank you for your help on that. Yeah. So yeah, and maybe we could do like it digitally from your phones. Maybe you log in and you give some class to look at as far as city operations, and then maybe we have some thorough discussions. I'm all for it. I don't mind. I know a couple people on my staff will come in with me on a Saturday and Sunday and do that, but I don't want to make that like a mandatory thing. We don't get like a lot of participation or interest in such a thing. But even with that, like I said, if you will pre-coordinate, talk with us, we're here. And it ain't just the city manager either. With your commissioners, just got to reach out to them and request a meeting with them, or request to them that you want us to come out there and brief, your neighborhood. We want to do those things, but it's hard. We don't get the call to do it. Of course, everybody goes out, like today when Commissioner Bennett does her update. All the commissioners kind of do that, but a lot of times you only have 4 or 5 people out there listening. And then it kind of feels like it's not deaf ears, because we got 4 or 5 more citizens in the know. But it would be great to come out to a place and do a town hall on site, or a digital town hall. We have hundreds of people, listening in, getting the right information. So then we can be critical of each other and then really fix and solve these problems once everybody really truly understands what it is that we're trying to solve. So I just think, hope that can be understood, to those watching right now and those that come on later on. Like we all really in the fight for the city, and not saying that anybody's perfect up here. We've made some mistakes on certain decisions. We're still trying to figure out some of those mistakes, because we made them in the past, and we're still suffering from them now. But we're working on that to get better, and I'm confident that we will figure out all these issues that we have right now, and we'll get through this period of inflation, taxation, and just intolerance in some cases with our fellow citizens. But we're getting there. So. And how much time I got left in the back here? 15 minutes. Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna do a quick summary. I know some people came in late. I just want to make sure everybody heard what I said earlier. So one thing we are gonna do is some of our processes that I know people have questions about, blighted property, abandoned houses. We're going to put that on our website, and the information papers on our Facebook page. So hopefully you can better understand those processes. And it's going to take about 2 weeks to get that done. We got a dashboard that kind of outlines all our routes, our trash collection, our codes department, our DPW, ESG, and a few other people from in Public Works. And you can see, you'll know, like on Tuesday, this is District 2's trash collection. On Thursday, this is District 4 mowing and grass cutting, or park maintenance. So you'll know when all that happens, and then you can actually go out there and see what's going on with the city. So that's going to happen in a couple weeks as well. And then as far as grants and opportunities, that's going to be on our business integration and technology, or information technology director's page. And that's just going to have the grant information for you, for those of you that qualify. And I just asked that you put in for that. I did speak to Georgia Power yesterday, and right now we have not had the desired turnout that I wish we would have had. Rates go up at the end of July 1st, rates go back up for that 3rd time. So please, if you can, call Georgia Power today and go ahead and put in for that realization program, or go through Action Pack, or some of those other initiatives they have that cut costs for you, because I don't want to see any more citizens put in an adverse situation when we do have, additional funding and recovery for you that's out there. And like I said, as of that meeting last week, we only had, I think, 2% of our residents enrolled in anything. So let's take advantage of it, citizens. The commissions fight hard for you on these things. And this is another example. Sometimes we have to go to Atlanta and talk to Georgia Power, because they necessarily don't know what's going on the ground a lot of times. and it's good for them to hear it face to face, to know some of the challenges that we have down here in rural communities and small cities. So, and the last thing for those coming in late, I did do my water bowl class. So, just gonna put it back here again for you. This is our budget 10 years ago, and we was just kind of making it, you know. And now, with inflation, additional requirements, bad boy, lack of maintenance, our pot just got bigger, and we still got the same input coming in, so it gets that much harder each and every day to fund some of these projects going right now. So, hopefully you understood that. But like I said, this is just an example for us to all understand why we got to make certain decisions by the commission moving forward. And then, hopefully we all benefit. Not hopefully, we all going to benefit from that once we make some of these tough decisions. All right. So, I don't see too many questions in here that I haven't answered already. But I'm just gonna scroll down, make sure I ain't miss anything. Yeah, you see in there our next commission meeting work session is that first week in June, and that's when we're gonna have our budget update. So if you can be free, please stop by and we'll be discussing the budget. If you want to provide some feedback, you can do it then. And just going through again. And once again, on behalf of the commissioners and mayor, I want to thank everybody for their comments and their critiques, their solutions, because that's how things get done. We have a good, honest, informational, and data-based conversation. That's how you fix things. And that's our goal, is to fix things long-term and not keep on fixing them short-term. So my next game today is at 1:30, I think. And what we're going to do, we're going to be on Sweat Street. This is one of our water and sewer projects. We have many. And my next update on the second Thursday of each month is my first update, and I do one the fourth Thursday. I'm going to show y'all, I might be on site, but I want to really show y'all how neglect of a sewer system can cost so much money over time, and that way you can better appreciate some of these hard discussions we're going to have on some of our water and sewer projects. But I am going over now to District 2's area and kind of just walk through one of their major projects, and that's Sweat Street. And like I say, we have a lot of projects, so I'm not making one better than the other. But this is just a great example to explain some things that's going on. You cannot just patch and band-aid problem. And although the money to patch it and, band-aid it might be far less than fixing it, eventually that money, that band-aid and patching, will outcost fixing it. And that's something we have got to start recognizing as we move forward with some of our more serious water, sewer, water plant concerns. Oh, swamp money green. I like that. But I appreciate the humor, y'all. Sometimes, it's hard to laugh and smile around here because we got our, we always a knife fight about something. But I appreciate the humor today in the comments. And I don't think we're gonna have any more questions today. But on behalf of the commission and the mayor, we do want to thank you for all your support as citizens. Not one day doesn't go by. Like I said, citizens does give me some good feedback as your city manager. So really appreciate that. The mayor's next city update next, and it's going to be posted on the date and time and location here in the comments. Please come out for that. The mayor's going to cover a lot of great information about what's going on in the city and some future initiatives. We got a great mayor, probably one of the best tempered men I've ever met in my life, and patient man, and very educated. He's helped me out a lot with some of my decision making here in the city. So it's good to have a good, strong mayor like we have. So if you can, please support him. It's only for like an hour and a half, I think, so it will be kind of quick. But if you got some time, please stop by. I saw a comment. Well, I got a text early about, I had mentioned at the last update about some of the overpasses. And like I said, I'm going to get with the county. We're going to do that, hopefully do a joint brief here probably next month. We'll make a strong effort to do that because I know that's important to y'all right now about where that money is going as far as the overpasses. And I know everybody's looking forward to a time where we can totally avoid the train. I will say that time is coming. It will be much sooner than later, as I stated. So we'll make sure to put that on the calendar once we lock in a good date. All right. And my last point I would like to make, please, like I said earlier, let's keep our kids safe. You know, every day I come to work, I watch people just speed and running stop signs. I just, it just gets disheartening. So safety is always first priority for the commission, the mayor, and myself, and the police force, and the fire force, and all our department heads. So our kids are out of school. We really need your help. We really need y'all to slow down. Slow down, please slow down. I don't know what to say, so I'm gonna close with that. Because our kids, our kids' lives, all our lives are important. But we just had so much death with children here the last 3-4 months that could have been prevented, and all contribute to speeding. So please slow down. And I'm gonna pause there for maybe 2 more comments. Okay. Yeah. So I see drainage system in the county. I'm not sure what you're talking about. If you can just reach out to my office and I'll follow up with you. I'm not really sure what they're doing to address some of that drainage, but just call my office and I'll make sure to pass it on to the county manager and get it addressed for you as best as he can. All right. Hey, so thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. I gotta be, like I said, we gotta be somewhere else. But once again, thank you so much, citizens, for all your support and understanding. Please keep asking questions, keep holding us accountable. Come to the meetings, to help us, help you. And just remember, this is one city. We're all in the fight for this city, wherever that fight is. If it's in DC, Atlanta, wherever it is, to bring my resources, jobs, accountability, and funding for here, that's something we gotta do. And like I said about the budget here, hopefully you understand that better. But if you got solutions on how to maybe help us bring in this revenue, please contact my office or my financial director. And with that, thank you very much. Y'all have a great day.